You might think that understanding narcissism would help you heal, but in fact, it does the opposite effect if done wrong. It keeps you more obsessed and more stuck. In this video, I'm going to share with you the negative effect on specific types of videos about narcissism, how they can hinder your healing, and the true effective thing you need to do to push your healing journey in the right direction. My name is Manar, and not only I've been through narcissistic abuse, but I'm also a hypnotherapist and NLP coach and a lifelong learner of psychology and trauma. And notice how I started with the less important thing for you to know. And that's my first point. Just because someone has been through narcissistic abuse doesn't make them an expert. Otherwise, we would all be doctors. Like, if someone gets a kidney stone and they heal, now all of a sudden, they heal people who have kidney stones? Doesn't work this way. You want to listen to someone who actually studied this. Now, there are tons of people who studied this but still make harmful content, and I'm going to give you examples. But first, as someone who've been through narcissistic abuse, or you maybe were raised by a narcissistic parent, or had a narcissistic boss, whatever, I want to ask you, what was the main theme in that interaction? Or the common theme of how they gaslit you, manipulated you, or even celebrated your birthday? It was always about them, right? Christmas was about them. Your graduation or whatever success that you had, or job promotion, everything was about them. You start complaining about something that they did, and you're hurt. Somehow you end up apologizing because they made it about them. It's always been about them. And now your healing journey is going to be about them too? Hell no. This is the first of two dangers of watching content about what a narcissistic person does or how they think and why, etc., etc. I'm not saying that it's all bad. This is how it actually started for me when I first found a video of Dr. Romani about narcissism, and I was like, oh shit, this explains my life. Okay, now I know that there is something wrong. But what happened here is, like, thank God I have this solution-oriented mentality. So I was like, okay, now what? When you keep watching this content about them, you accumulate more resentment, more overwhelm, and most importantly, you can adopt victimhood mentality. Because when you understand the tactics, and I'm going to put this in quotes, when you understand that you've been abused, you feel bad for yourself, right? You feel like a victim. And here, you either choose to say, okay, now I see a problem. Where is the solution? Or you stay in victimhood mode. And that is the danger. Because when you really learn about what a narcissistic person does, and again, their tactics, and it can feel that they always win. Especially that most psychologists will tell you that a narcissistic person may never change. So what do we do to make sense out of that? We demonize them, if I said this word right. Make them like the demon. In that way, we feel better about ourselves, and we force ourselves to lose hope. You see, one of the main things that keeps us stuck in narcissistic relationships is hope. So if we can lose that, oh, that would be great. So we'll take whatever that we can get, right? We could just say that this is not good for me and we leave and we move on. But we all know that it's not that easy. But when your soul is wounded, looking at the narc as a demon somehow helps, but not in the long run. And that is the second danger. When something bad happens to a demon, a villain, an evil creature, what do? How do we feel? We be like, oh yeah, they deserve it. Even when we watch a movie or something, we always not only root for the hero, we be like, fuck that villain, right? They deserve whatever bad thing that's happening to them because we look at them as a villain, right? So you might ask, so yeah, they deserved it. So what if I say that they deserved it? I mean, they hurt me, right? Well, let me remind you of another common theme of a narcissistic person. Do you remember their entitlement? Thinking that they're above you, thinking and acting that they had the right for everything and anything. They had the right to tell you what to do and what not to do. They had the right for what you have. They had the right to your freaking body. They had the right to punish you when you do something that they don't like. And they punish you and they be like, well, you deserved it. From their point of view. Now, how does that make you different from the narcissist? If you think that they deserved whatever that you think they deserve or whatever happened to them, or you think that you are above them, they are below you because they are demons and they would never change. What happens here, this second big danger, is that you lose your empathy. And you know, when you lose your empathy, what do you become? You become a narcissist yourself. Let that sink in for a second. What you truly need is to stop thinking about them and start thinking about you. What happened that got me attracting narcissistic people in my life? Or if you have a narcissistic parent, so did I, by the way, my work was understanding how that affected me. And I'll give you a couple examples from actual clients, okay? One of my clients, she came to me for a hypnotherapy session and she said one sentence. She said, I feel stuck. I feel that I'm always complaining. She wanted to get rid of that. Under hypnosis, we found out that she adopted victimhood mentality, and that was the effect of having a narcissistic parent on her. Notice how I didn't say because of her narcissistic parent. I'm not even giving them that. All right? I'm not giving the narcissist that something happened because of them. Why? Because it's about you. Taking accountability means thinking from my side, the effect on me and what I can do about it. So we found that out. We found out that she was stuck in victimhood mentality, and we got rid of that. And now she's taking things into her own hands. She's setting boundaries with her narcissistic parent, and she's good. Another client was a man in his 40s, and he came because he had tons of toxic relationships, and he was like, what's wrong with me, right? And we worked with him under hypnosis, and we found out what behaviors that he had that attracted narcissistic people. And these behaviors were wonderful behaviors, actually. You see, there was nothing wrong with him. Absolutely nothing. However, we worked on how he can have boundaries, how he can protect himself, how he can have better understanding of people around him, and then really choosing who he can really be his complete, authentic self with. That doesn't mean that he was walking around being fake after the sessions. No, he would be truly himself, but he would just show a little bit of a taste, right? We all have good boundaries and we need to have balance, right? That is to say that we didn't work on understanding the narcissist. I didn't sit with these clients like giving them lectures about the narcissistic person and the psychology behind them and the tactics, right? Actually, you remember when I said I'll circle back to the tactics? I'm not going to circle back to it. Why? Because it's not about them. It's about you. You see, if you have good resilience, if you have good boundaries, if you have a lot of other things, if you just understand what attracted you to a narcissist, you're not going to need to understand what a narcissist is. You're gonna understand it by your experience. You're gonna be maybe in tune with your body and be like, well, my body doesn't feel good around that person. My energy doesn't feel good about that person. Whether they're a narcissist or not, they're just not good for you, right? That's what we want to get to. Another example actually from another client, that person came for financial issues, money issues. And we found out the reason for that money issue was a behavior that they adopted, and that behavior protected them from their narcissistic parent, right? Who understood that? I understood that, and I made them understand the behavior that they adopted and why, but I didn't say the word narcissist. However, after the session, we worked on coaching and stuff like that. That person is setting good boundaries with their narcissistic parent. And to this day, we never said the word narcissist in our sessions. But they're setting good boundaries. They're having good financial outcomes with their business. And we never said the word narcissist. It's not about them. It's about you. Take your goddamn power back. Even your healing journey. You want that to be about them? Come on. What we do is understanding the effect of these narcissistic relationships on you. What happened that got you attracting these narcissistic relationships? What can we do to protect you from them? What can we do so you can really be yourself, but safely? It's about you. Narcissistic people have trouble looking at themselves in the mirror, but healthy people don't. Healthy people ask questions objectively and they find answers. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. What can you do about it? Start with you. I hope that helps, and if you would like to book a hypnotherapy session with me, the link is in the description, and please subscribe to get more realistic content and psychological analysis.